Now, Ghana on Friday lost another one of its budding talents, songstress Ebony, in a tragic motor accident which also claimed the life of two others. The accident occurred at Mankraso on the Sunyani-Kumasi Highway when a Jeep, four-wheel drive, they were traveling involved in a collision with a Kia passenger bus operated by the VIP Transport en route to Sunyani. Only one of the four occupants of the vehicle, the driver, survived. Now, Ebony burst onto the music scene and within a short period captured the hearts and minds of many Ghanaians with several of her melodic tunes that skyrocketed to the top of the charts. But very little is known of the 20-year-old Priscilla Opoku-Kwarteng's private life. She was said to have turned 21 next week, February 16. Fifi Kumson looks back at the short but illustrious career of Ebony Rains.
So we're here with the beautiful Ebony, and of course it's all about her album. We are so excited and we are all here to support her. Hi Ebony.
Hi darling. You look.
She was loved for her talent, beauty and smartness.
It's her personality. That's what motivated to bring out the best in her.
For this fact.
Now, Ebony was said to be returning from Sunyani, where she had gone to visit the mother, who recently returned from the UK. Her father, Nana Opoku-Kwarteng, tells Joy News' Maxwell Ababa his daughter was billed to travel to Europe on Saturday for a concert. Ebony came in for heavy criticism about her rather provocative dressing, which showed a bit too much flesh. But the father said he has no problem with the way she dressed.
Writer, so loving and so caring. I mean, like we've been seeing this pretty queen, so amazing. What do I have to say, my dear? I'm confused here. But trust me, Ohima was Ohima. The title bestowed was the personality. You know, Ghanaians, so to speak, some are so hypocritical, you know. They like this girl, but they would hide somewhere and say bad things about the queen. But trust me, she was a real gem. She was. So all that they were saying and all blah, 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 well, it didn't push her one bit. I had encouraged her. That's what I always do. Like I said earlier, I could even choose for her what to wear. Yes. Her brand, like you all know, was very different from what we've been seeing. Uniquely, my girl was so special. And I will forever miss this girl.
We picking information that she had some traveling plans. We were told that she'll be traveling tomorrow.
She was leaving on the 10th.
And today's the 9th.
You telling me, my dear. She was leaving on the 10th. I have a goddamn, what is it? A visa in my room as I speak with you now. She was leaving on the 10th.
What was she
for
doing?
Belgium, touring Europe for the first time. On the 10th, she was leaving. Touring Europe. Germany, Italy, France, what have you, you name them. That is the case.
So you heard the father of Ebony speaking there to my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. Now, so Ebony Rains was born Priscilla Opoku-Kwarteng in Dansoman, a suburb of Accra. She was raised in the urban areas of Accra, and she started her basic education at the 7th grade Princess Academy in Dansoman and later attended the Methodist Girls High School at Manthe in the Eastern region, but she did not graduate. She quit high school in pursuit of her music career. Ebony came out with her first single, Dance Floor, in December 2015 with a video and audio release. The song became a hit on radio, landing her nomination for the Unsung category at the 2016 Ghana Music Awards. Now, in March 2016, Ebony released her major hit single, Coupe, which is a household anthem in Ghana and some African countries. And as we have been reporting, she was killed in a traffic collision on 8 February while returning from Sunyani to Accra after visiting her mother. Now, our sister station, Adum FM, has been speaking with Ebony's mother. She is inconsolable. Watch.
Oh, Mama, I'm a regent. I had your Vientino. Now it's OGD. I'm saying I want my one crammer. No, so, me cram me flat that. Mr. Mayor, surprised. I am surprised. Now I'm sitting up there. I sit there now, bear. Now, Mrs. House comedy, dear. My opinion, I for you. And by when I'm seeing me, man. My papa and I doing yes, just an Anna. Jammy phone to Paso. I'm a small beer, not tidy up, Bremen. But yeah, before I ring the bell 6. And I'm a friend. I'm saying, to me, yes, I'm a friend, I'm not so fair. I say, Ma, I'll change my mind. That's why. So I need your love, rice and salad, please. I'm see you. I'm saying, Papa, I'm going to say, Martin. I'm be doing also, so your mom and my food, your love. I'm smarty. I'm a summer. I'm in the list. I'm a sister back who come, my friend, sir. And then Papa Casadin come on, and I'm still sending the senior sister. Oh, come, I saw him in accident. I saw him, and we saw red up and on you, Jesus. I'm here. Then I no crack. Rather, the brain, you know what? Nammy the hole, a crown of family, Nammy the hole. I'm a bomb pie on the panel. And the first time I'm making. I ran if I fast is so Jimmy by Pamano. Nammy the hole. Nammy the hole. Nammy down, Nammy the Mammy Barrow. Because the dog so. Nammy down, sister.
And so you just heard the tearful mother of Ebony, Beatrice Opong, speaking there to our sister station, Adum FM. Essentially, what she was saying was that her daughter landed in Sunyani and called her. She asked her daughter why she had not informed her before traveling to Sunyani, and asked her daughter what she would eat, and proceeded to prepare a meal. Now, Maxwell Agbagba also spoke with one of Ebony's closest friends, Ellen Asamoah, who was also at the family home. Dansuman here in Accra.
Great to Methodist girls. So we've been friends for a very long time.
Okay.
So I just heard the news this morning around 6 a.m. So I tried calling her phone, and then it wasn't going through.
Now you told me that you guys had a chat yesterday.
Yeah.
Around what time?
Around 9:26 p.m. I only asked her like, "Babe, what's up?" And she was like, she's okay, and she asked of me, and I was like, I'm okay. That was all, because I wanted to ask of her birthday, because this coming Thursday is her birthday. So but then I didn't ask her again. I don't know why. Oh, she was like a sister to me when we went to McGee's, because we had a crew called DBs. We're like 13 girls, like having fun in school, like visiting time, when they bring us like pizza, the box, and we just pour our rice in the box, then we all eat together. Do you get it? So it was so fun way back in SHS, but then she left. Like entertainment, she used to sing. I used to perform with her this Castro song with Tiffany. I used to perform with her on stage.
Now, the spot at Mankraso, where the tragic accident occurred on the Sunyani-Kumasi highway, is said to be prone to accidents. Residents say although they have lodged numerous complaints, nothing much has happened. Indeed, there was a second accident at that same spot after the tragic one that claimed Ebony's life. Love News' Erastus Asari Donko has been to the scene. He brings us this account of how it happened.
So what we are now seeing is the main Sunyani road, and this is the portion where the accident happened. Now this is the double lane. Now this vehicle you are seeing in your shot wasn't there when the accident occurred. So after the accident, this vehicle also had an accident. So you can see a towing vehicle ready to pick it. but this is the double lane. So when you go straight like this, you see the sand, the heap of sand over there. So this is the heap of sand, and it was plenty and sitting on one side of the lane. So as you can see, this vehicle that had an accident after Ebony's accident has now come to sit on the heap of sand. So you could see that there was a heap of sand right here sitting in the middle of the road. So they were coming from this side. They had to dodge this heap of sand, which is now leveled by the vehicle, and get into the other lane here. So they got into this lane where the VIP was coming from this direction, and then it collided with the vehicle, the VIP vehicle, on this lane. So as you can see, that's Ebony's vehicle in the distance there. So that's what happened. So here, if you go this lane and you come back, you could see the heap of sand right here. And that's what the vehicle is sitting on. It has leveled it completely.
Come to my attention, and we've tried a lot, but it's unfortunate that this accident has occurred. I've been to the regional highways, making several attempts, and even during the Christmas I was on air calling the regional highway or the national highway to pay attention to this particular spot. But all of a sudden what I saw was that there was a contractor on site, and they dumped some gravels which nobody came to my office introducing himself that maybe they've given him this contract. So it's very difficult for you to monitor or trace whoever the contract has been given. And unfortunately, it has lied there for several months.
You're referring to the heap of sand, yes, on the other side of the road?
Yes. And unfortunately, has caused this accident.
So when you say it came to your attention, is it the accident that it caused? Because I learned a woman was knocked down here just recently and killed.
Several accidents has happened.
So when you say what brought to your attention, you knew that this is an accident-prone area. You knew what could be done. What was preventing you from doing something about it?
You know, it's a highway program. It's not for the assembly to embark on this project. So we informed the highways that about this situation. So we called them to come and remedy the situation. But like I was saying, before I was aware, I was kept here. And nobody came to my office to tell me I've been given the contract. So I don't know whoever is awarded the contract.
Yeah. What do we do going forward? Because we are now seeing that another vehicle just behind us, the trailer there, also was involved in an accident after this one yesterday. Yeah. What do we do now?
I've just called the regional minister. You know, there are some policemen, my officers, the two police commanders, both Bechem and Mankranso, are also with me here. So we've called the regional minister. You know, this kind of articulated truck carrying a load of blocks, no small vehicle can pull it. So we are looking for a bigger one. That's why I've called the regional minister. And he is calling the fire service so that maybe they can provide us with a very heavy one.
But with the construction of the road, because then this is a critical point. It's urgent that we fix this road immediately. What do we do about that going forward?
In fact, my coordinating director is with me here. So from here, we are going to call the regional highway so that maybe they can do something about it.
But I do have
So you heard Erastus Asare Donko speaking there to the DC of Mankraso there. We're taking a You're welcome back. Now, the accident which claimed Ebony's life on Friday also claimed the life of a military officer, Francis Achu Vondi of the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, he has been identified as Lance Corporal Francis Achu Vondi. He's a military man who served in the Ghana Armed Forces. Officials at the Ghana Armed Forces are investigating how Francis was caught up in the accident. He's a native of Adidome Mafi in the Volta region and also attended Sogakofe Senior High School. Now, information we are receiving indicates that the military officer, that the military high command is not aware of the officer. I beg your pardon, I'll take that again. Information we're receiving indicates that the military personnel, he's with the Ghana Air Force, he's stationed at the Ghana Air Force Base in Burma Camp, and it turns out that the military is not aware of his deployment. In other words, he is away without leave, AWOL. Now, what we are learning is that he was executing a purely private and personal business without the knowledge of his superiors, but he was in uniform. Well, we are told that the implications of such actions could be that he would be charged for the crime of being absent without leave, and his family could be denied his benefits paid to them. So now the other occupant of the vehicle who died is one Franklina, a friend of Ebony who we are learning lives together in the same house with the songstress. Joy News is learning she relocated to Ghana from the US last year to start a business, and she's an old student of the Holy Child School. Now, it's reported that she's a childhood friend and the personal assistant of Ebony, and she is 24 years old. That's Franklina. Of course, several tweets have been pouring in, no less than the president of the state, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. Now, he writes, saddened by the news of the death of the young but extremely talented female artiste, Priscilla Opoku-Kwarteng, aka Ebony Rains. By all accounts, she had a very promising music career. My deepest condolences to her family and to the families of the two others who died in the tragic accident. So that was a tweet from the president. Now, former President John Dramani Mahama also tweeted on this. He says, RIP #Ebony, a talented life cut short. My favorite track on the domestic violence and relationships, Mami She. So that's former President John Dramani Mahama with that tweet there. We do also understand that that the wife of the Vice President, Samira Baumia, also tweeted, sharing her condolences to the family of the bereaved. Of course, her peers in the entertainment industry have also been tweeting. We'll take a few of that. On your screen there is Kafui Danko there, and that's a tweet from Cartel Big J, also known as Pride Titia. He says, this is really sad. We have another one from Easy First Lady. This is on Instagram, and she writes, can't find the words for this post. This is extremely sad. The Real Funny Face also posted on Instagram, and he says, oh, Ebony, don't even know what to type. This world is truly not our home. We're just passing by. We will all go one day, but when and how, nobody knows except God. There's this one from Ebeku Santana. He writes, my love, my friend, my sister, my babes. My wife has been crying all day. She can't forget the surprise you gave her on her birthday. It's almost a week to our birthday. Death, why? At Ebony Rains, and at Ebony Rains Philip. Some tributes there from the entertainment fraternity in Ghana. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a short break. We're back with business.
Hi everyone, welcome to Business on Joy News Prime. Now, Ghanaian fintech company with operations in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Guinea and India has taken over 4G firm Busy Ghana. This was contained in a statement issued by Busy a while ago. Joining me in studio is George Yafe, Assistant Editor, Joy Business, who has been reading through the statement. Tell us more about this company that has taken over Busy.
So as you tried to explain earlier on in your intro, it's a fintech company more into financial technology operations in Ghana and these other countries as well. And the majority owner of Busy, that is the Afrimax Group, is saying that they wanted to restructure the operations in the region, and that is why they thought that going forward they don't still think that they should take over or manage the company, and that is why they're giving to this new entity. They will have over 80% stake in this.
And what does that mean, really?
Well, we had rumors that Busy was having some challenges with financial operations. I mean, how far that is true, we will try to find out later, but it looks like this original owner had some problems in pumping in fresh capital, and therefore you might need a new company that had the financial muscle to pump in that fresh capital to meet the growing competition in this sector. MTN is riding way ahead, Vodafone and the other players as well. So you might need another player that is quite strong to come in and pump fresh capital to expand and also consolidate their position on the market. And that could be one of the major reasons why they sold this stake to this new company to come in and help run Busy Ghana.
I don't know what kind of competition this brings into the space, because you know, Busy started with the campaign, the 4G campaign, and then they lost team,
you're right,
in quotes, and now we've seen this one take over. What kind of competition does it bring to the space?
They've been outside, they are coming in, and obviously if our technologies hasn't got that financial muscle, I don't think they could have taken over. So expect some fresh capital being put in, expect a new Busy Ghana advertising marketing campaign, and see how they can sustain or even maintain the little market that they have, as well as try to grow the market that they have.
All right, another thing we want to talk about is the finance minister leading a government delegation to Asia to scout for more investors. What more do we know about this trip to Asia?
Singapore will be one of the destinations that the minister will be going. And when you look at Singapore, a very strong economy, financial-wise, economy-wise, and they want to understudy how these countries have done it. These are the Asian tigers in terms of growing the economy. And also the fact that Europe might be having problems, America might be having problems. So can we look for new investors who can have the interest of sustain our bonds when we issue bonds? And one of them will be the upcoming 1 billion cedi bond that the government will be issuing. So let's go into this country, get new investors so they can buy into our bonds.
All right. Thanks very much indeed, George Yafe there. And as we speak about bonds, we are hearing that the country has secured more than targeted in a 5-year bond. It closed yesterday. Meanwhile, financial analyst Charles Mensah is urging government to utilize proceeds from the bond for economic purposes. He explains.
We're going to use it for some activity. What activity is it? Is it a social activity or is it a commercial activity? Economic activity, I mean. So that if you're going to use it to construct roads, we know that the likelihood is that we may get toll from the roads, the cars and things. You know, economic activity will be booming. But if it is that we are going to use it for certain things, like education, it's not immediate return venture. It's a long-term thing. So that one, you would usually be looking at maybe managing it out of the system, because if it is that directly, I mean, when I say managing out of the system, maybe you are going to use taxes, special taxes, to fund that. So that you know that you expect a certain amount of taxes out of education, like what we did for the GET Fund. So you know there's a certain levy or there's a certain taxes coming towards education. So it's secured for that. But where you have so much and you're going to put so much into, let's say, education, in itself is good. But when you're going to service the debt, and the people that you've produced out of education are not even working, you have two troubles, because the guys have all graduated. You are going to create unemployment. The person that you borrow from is equally looking to be serviced. So you probably have to go and borrow again, double. So you end up borrowing to go and pay the old debt, and also borrow to see whether you can do some activity to secure the young ones who just graduated. So that's where we have to have a combination of economic activity and social activity. Don't put all into social activity and don't put also all into economic activity. You have to work out properly. And of course, if you have these people who can project and predict things in a longer period, then you can work properly and make sure that the money is going here, and they get plugged in properly.
In other news tonight, Access Bank says it would embark on some programs and projects to help encourage the culture of saving in the country. According to Managing Director of the bank, Dolapo Ogundimi, it is currently investing heavily in technology to help attract the unbanked. He spoke to Joy Business at the final presentation of awards at the Access Bank Achedie Kesia promotion. Charles Aite has more.
According to MD of Access Bank, Dolapo Ogundimu, closing the deficit of Ghana's unbanked population, which currently stands at 40%, remains a priority of the bank.
I'm pleased that we are making significant strides towards achieving our financial inclusion of our goals of focusing on underserved and unbanked segments of our population, especially the youth. The youth, for instance, form a critical aspect of our strategy as we aim to become a leading retail bank in Ghana within the next 5 years.
Dolapo Ogundimu believes that investing heavily in technology goes a long way to deepen financial inclusion in Ghana.
Opportunities to make payments online, to do all sorts of transactions. We cannot underestimate their potential and the need for us to develop tailor-made banking services and solutions to serve their ever-changing lifestyle, which is more important now than ever before.
Meanwhile, head of private and women banking, Matilda Asante, tells Joy Business that her outfit is now introducing new packages to improve financial inclusion, especially among women.
We have women. Again, we know if you go to Mokola right now, the bulk of the money is in some woman's, wallet or something. How are we harnessing that? Our women's initiative is doing that for us by giving them training, understanding their business and supporting them with financial services so that they can grow their business.
So far, Access Bank's Achedie Kesia promotion has seen over 2,000 customers rewarded for their urge to inculcate in the culture of savings. The ultimate winners, the Tinalet family, consisting of Ernestina Safo and Letitia Ajaychum, took home a cash prize of 150,000 Ghana cedis.
While more banks are taking steps to inculcate the habit of saving in the public, the latest to join the campaign is Societe Generale, which is actually targeting the youth. According to head of retail network of the bank, Obed Hoyer, his outfit is looking at embarking on a sensitization tour to educate the youth about the benefits of saving. He spoke to Joy Business at the final draw of the Abinwaha Deposit and Win promotion here in Accra.
Over the years, we have seen gradual progress. We are not there. We are not where we want to be. But systematically, as we have continued to run promos, we have seen progress, especially among the youth, which was a very difficult group, if I may put it like that. Because normally, of course, when you are young, you don't have enough money, so you never think about saving. But as we've continued to run these promos and educate the youth, now we are seeing the youth becoming more interested in saving because they have plans for things they want to do in life. Some want to set up businesses, others who plan to do things in terms of education, marriage, and other things. Now we are sensitizing them on the need to start saving very early for the things they need to do in life.
Are you ready to do it yearly?
Of course, we've been doing it for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years or so. So definitely every year we take a look at our plans for the year. As part of our strategy, this is something we plan to do, and every year we'll give consideration to doing it.
And I'm told that 6 lucky winners were announced. That's it for business. There's more news after this break.
You're welcome back. Now, government has dismissed concerns by the minority in Parliament that the President's planned assessment of his ministers is an exercise in futility. Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Anthony Agutose, on Friday described the position of the NDC MPs on the matter as strange, as he stressed the exercise will come off on Monday as scheduled. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu had earlier Friday presented what he called the true state of the nation While describing conditions in the country as terrible due to the high cost of living, he faulted President Akufo-Addo for wanting to assess his ministers when he had failed to ensure they have funds available to implement his policies. There's more in the following report.
On Thursday, February 8, the minority MPs sat through the State of the Nation address by the President. Their sometimes loud, intermittent interjections gave an indication they had a lot to disagree with on the President's presentation. On Friday, Minority Leader Haruna Iddrisu addressed the media on what he called the true State of the Nation address. He questioned why the President is interfering in the internal politics of the NDC.
He also saw President Nana Addo Dankwa attempting to sow seeds of feud between the NDC Minority Caucus and our founder, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. Founders Day, even the unquestionable historical fact of a founder of Ghana, the same Nana Addo Dankwa, is raising doubts and questions. I listened to President Macron stand beside President Nana Addo Dankwa when he visited Ghana for the first time, and he said, President Nkrumah, founder of Ghana, not in doubt, yet he has doubts. He should let us settle on that settled historical fact and matter.
He then proceeded to address the gathering on the state of the country. The minority leader said conditions in the country were simply unbearable. He read from a list of items on the market he claimed had seen significant increase in price since President Akufo-Addo took over the governance of the country.
These are sacred facts, not alleged facts. These are facts that you can ascertain in the market, not alleged facts, but sacred facts about prices of commodities in the market. Maybe I should go to a box of chicken which was selling at 89 Ghana cedis, now 150 Ghana cedis. Gallon of oil, 35 Ghana cedis, now selling at 62 Ghana cedis. I'm interested in Kobe 4.5 now to 7 Ghana cedis. I'm interested in that. So we should, and then a gallon of petrol, 15 Ghana cedis, now at 22 Ghana cedis.
On the planned assessment of ministers expected to come off on Monday, Mr. Iddrisu argued it was a fruitless venture. He urged the president to ensure that funds are available for the ministers to perform.
An exercise in futility and a needless exercise. When ministers don't have resources or money releases to them from the Ministry of Finance, they cannot perform and they will not perform. You don't need an assessment to understand why ministries are not delivering on their core mandates and on their deliverables as they pledge.
Government, however, disagrees with this position by the minority. Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Anthony Akoto Osei, maintains the exercise is crucial in the president's effort to deliver with the best personnel.
I'm surprised that anybody will say that an assessment is not necessary. This is how we live our life. As you do your things, you need to assess yourself to see where you're going. So I think it's necessary. A year down the line, it's important that the president, who is the appointing authority, gets the opportunity to have a one-on-one discussion with his appointees.
Now, each of the 9 suspected Upper West New Patriotic Party hooligans who attacked the NADMO officials have been granted bail in the sum of 5,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties by Wa Circuit Court. They are to reappear on February 12. The 9 suspects have been charged with 4 counts of conspiracy to commit crime, a threat of harm, assault, and stealing. 5 of the 9 suspects who were in court last week Friday were handed over to the Upper West Police for prosecution to begin by Upper West Regional Minister Alhaji Suleimana Al-Hassan after they stormed the offices of the Upper West Region NADMO.
Unlike the last time when the 5 suspects appeared in the court smiling when the 4 charges were read to them, this time they wore front faces and looked remorseful. The prosecution last week prayed to the court to give them more time to arrest more of the suspects who were alleged to have been involved in the Upper West NADMO raid. 4 suspects who were part of the list that the investigation team has their eyes on turned themselves in after writing a letter of apology to the Upper West NADMO coordinator, Isaac Seydou, for storming the office. They were arraigned before the Wa Circuit Court on Thursday and remanded to reappear today increasing the number of accused persons to 9. The 9 suspected hooligans were charged with 4 counts of conspiracy to commit a crime, a threat of harm, assault and stealing. The Wasaikud court was full to capacity. Several relatives of the accused persons, supporters of the MPP, stood quietly listening to the proceedings amidst heavy police presence. All the 9 accused persons pleaded not guilty to the 4 charges leveled against them. Police prosecutor Chief Inspector Daniel Yeboah told the court that they are finished with their investigation and has forwarded the case to the state attorney to continue with the prosecution. The court, presided over by His Worship Justice Bafoson Ajapon, granted each of the 9 accused persons bail in the sum of 5,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. The case was adjourned to February 12, 2018.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has charged the Ghana Police Service to work towards rooting out the perception of corruption that has bedeviled the service in recent years. The administration has also promised to commence massive rehabilitation of police stations across the country and recruit additional 4,000 personnel into the service to help reduce crime and lawlessness in the country. Some 1,000 new vehicles and police kits, including ammunition, are also to be purchased for the service to help in crime combat. This was made known by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, when he delivered a speech on behalf of the President at the 47th Cadet Officers Training at the National Police Training School at Tesano Friday afternoon.
The 132 cadet officers made up of 88 policemen and 44 policewomen were drawn from the medical and general pool of the Ghana Police Service. After 2 years of training, their effort was crowned when the Vice President, acting on behalf of President Akufo-Addo, commissioned them into the senior ranks of the service at the National Police Training School. With the perception of corruption within the Ghana Police Service, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, also had something to say to the fresh officers who are passing out at the Police Training Institute here at Tesano.
Report after report of the Afrobarometer surveys cites the service, fairly or unfairly, as the most perceived corrupt public institution in Ghana. This is not right, and it can no longer be the status quo. Citizens can only have confidence in the police when our men and women in uniform are seen to be honest and would enforce the law without fear or favor.
In an interview with Joy News, Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, says the newly commissioned officers have been given specialized training to work towards identifying and rooting out corrupt personnel from the service.
Issues of corruption was widely discussed during the training program, and the cadet officer came up with innovative ways of checking and reducing and improving the perception of corruption. Don't forget, it is only a perception, but certain actions that the Vice President has taken has given us more directives and more guidance, and then more guidance in ensuring that we reduce the perception of corruption by the way we act, by changing our attitudes and being transparent and respect for human rights. These are all issues that concern perception of corruption.
Minister of the Interior, Ambrose Derry, speaking to Joy News after the commissioning exercise, said the country will soon experience a world-class policing once the administration concludes its ambitious plan to retool the service.
For the first time, this government is trying to introduce standard police stations with certain minimum standards to be met. What we have is that we just have structures that have been put up, no specifications to meet the specific needs of a police station.
Would you say that has largely contributed to the jailbreaks we've experienced
over the last few years? In the case of Kwamenya, yes, because it was a structure that was offered to the police. And of course, they say never leave a gift house in the mouth. So it was given and they were using it. But well, as we also know, it is sometimes good to leave a gift horse in the mouth, because it might have this dentistry to bankrupt you. So for the first time, the president said, look, let's meet certain minimum standards. And that's what you see. That we start rolling out this year.
A professional pharmacist, Cadet Officer Hutus Ayete, emerged the overall best officer and was presented with the Sword of Honor.
Now, an Accra Human Rights Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to make public all assets and audited statements of political parties in the country. This follows the suit filed by private citizen Lolan Eko Sego Moses and pressure group Citizen Ghana Movement, praying the court to compel the commission to enforce the provisions of the law that requires all political parties to submit their annual financial statements to the commission. In the judgment of the court, the judge, Justice Anthony Yeboah, asked the EC to publish a demand notice to all political parties to take immediate steps to comply with the law within 6 months from today. Joy News is learning that the EC has indicated its readiness to fully comply with the directive. National Coordinator for CODEO, Albert Kofi Ahin, in his view, believes it's a welcoming decision, but there would be little transparency in the process. He joins us on the line now. Good evening and many thanks for your time, Mr. Ahin.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
Now, you're skeptical the political parties would fail to fully submit their financial statement. Why?
Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical because it's something that has not been happening. You know, when you take the history of the commission and the political parties, you know, they are supposed to declare their assets, you know, their accounts, everything after 31st of every year. You know, their state of the accounts, the sources of its funding, and the membership dues paid and all that. You know, they are supposed to also be giving us the donations they have been receiving, whether in cash or kind, the properties they own and all that. If you will agree with me, have you ever seen a publication by the EC of all these things that are being talked about in the law? And the EC itself, at any time within the year, can cause the political parties to account for the activities during the year. These things have not been happening. The only thing that I know has been happening is that maybe one or two of the big parties, you know, have been attempting to do it. So what I'm saying is that if you want to have a list of all the 26 parties, or is it 27, that are in existence in this country, I'm afraid you might be, you know, you'll be shocked to see that some of them have not even complied at all before.
Now, Mr. Ahin, yeah, you've worked at the Electoral Commission before. Tell me, why do you think it is so challenging for the Electoral Commission to bring these parties to book when they don't, you know, go by the rules that they're supposed to go by?
This question, I'm sure, should have gone to my leaders at the time. I don't want to sound that I was always championing it, but it's something that I never liked, and I was always quarreling about it. Their political party offices, declaration of assets, and all that. Let me tell you honestly that the commission was not forthcoming with, you know, so far as that thing is concerned. They were not asking them, were not compelling them. And so I believe all the parties took a holiday. They never bought it. After 31st, I'm saying that after 31st of every year. And it has been put there solely because it normally comes after an election has been conducted, so that all the parties will come out. You know, they are not supposed to be funded by foreigners. It's supposed to be by citizens of this country. And so the law was not promulgated for nothing. But what I'm saying is that at the time that I was there, these things were not being done. They were not being done. Even now, I don't know, probably one or two or three may have been doing it. But I'm not too sure you get all the parties complying in this regard.
Very well. We'll have to leave it here. Many thanks. That's Albert Ahin. He is National Coordinator for the Coalition of domestic election observers. Moving on, a 16-year-old girl has been burnt beyond recognition at a town called Yenade near Asin Otabil in Kwanta in the Asin North municipality of the Central Region. The victim, who was at the scene with her adopted mother, Abna Akwa, was trapped in a burning maize storage facility made of bamboo. The body, which was burnt beyond recognition, was gathered into boxes by the Asin Fusu police and sent to the St. Francis Hospital morgue for autopsy. The adopted mother of the deceased, who attempted to rescue the victim, also sustained degrees of injuries and currently is on admission at the same hospital. Some eyewitnesses shared what transpired with Adum News' Alfred Amo.
Mama got myself. Me happy.
Almost about it.
Me maintain here and pay CC or more bed and be too bad and better so.
Nine more na papa bi disu ba ekrum ho no se na yire ne abofra bi behwane abro wo inwuram nti apatana wo mo hye so na wo mo hwane abro no jato apatanum na kora na hye ina obobo ya mane nti e ba sa no mpanifo no so ye se ye ba behwe nti e ba no in fact na hye ukohwa na yeye nti mem na me fa ba na de man chance no so ne hu se etire ina da ho no mo ina nafu kakra bi ne yemu no ma ho na ntimi anhye papa ina yakata so ina yakoy nti yakoy na yakobo mpanifo amane se ni se na de na te
nti Monday no mbe kura nti me de ho kura na mo no mo ba se mma ne behwane aburu woni abayewa no on behwane aburu nti yakofo be 3 o'clock na ye ba fie no ne sabi u di su se adwo mame abasa kura na wode ne e baaye no akura no omu hwane aburu no akura na se mo ka ne se ma bibi hye nti ono maame ne ni ba ne ho so na wo ye se wo si fom no pata ne dwirigu ono maame ne so nti ama ono maame ne kura oba be bo ne kura mane no no won sha tare me na chini na yinyina nufu sebi nufu nyina gu so me ade mba ne jani de me nko aso ba kofo de me ntumi emma ho because me nim se de aban asemte ti madwuma ma ono me sign nti mi kwa me nim se ma ase ne ko fusu ne da nti an pa me hyam bi de obidie so no mo san ba se omu hu ma se no.
Well, the Asin Fusu Divisional Police Command has initiated investigations into the cause of the fire. And in the headlines, Ghana mourns popular songstress Ebony, who died in a tragic motor accident Friday dawn at Mankraso on the Sunyani-Kumasi Highway. Hundreds of tributes have been pouring in for the young Ebony, who died along with 2 others, a girl the father describes as a queen. And we brought you some of the tributes, including that of President Akufo-Addo. Also in the bulletin, government dismisses suggestions by the minority in Parliament that President Akufo-Addo's planned assessment of his ministers is an exercise in futility. The President has meanwhile charged his colleague heads of states to make a conscious effort at achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. In business,